Speaking about Pakistani elections, sometimes it feels that we have a very unique electoral landscape and unique electoral history in the context of Pakistan. If you allow me a couple of sentences about that, I say unique because Pakistan was able to hold its first national election based on adult franchise after 23 long years of its gaining independence. We came into being in 1947. First election took place in 1970. And after the first election, after non-acceptance of the outcome of the election, led to the breakup of the country. That's another unique feature of the country. But I will also try to mention that over the past, especially 50 years since the promulgation of our Constitution of 1973, we have seen a gradual improvement, at least in the legal and constitutional framework of the elections in Pakistan. I will just give you, for example, Election Commission in Pakistan used to be a non-permanent institution where members would come only at the time of election, hold election, and they will go back. There won't be a permanent election commission. But before 2002 election commission became a permanent body with its then 18th constitutional amendment brought in full-time members of the election commission. That was an improvement. Then what was remarkable was that we built into the constitution that the appointment of election commission will be bipartisan. So there will be ruling party and the opposition party. They will agree on the appointment of election commission. This is something which India has not been able to do so far. They want to do it, but they have not been able to do it, but we have done it. We also built within the safeguards a caretaker government so that the government in place is not able to influence the election. So that was, some people think was an improvement. Some people think otherwise. We also got computerized national identification card as the basis for enlistment in the electoral rolls, which went a long way in eliminating the multiple entries in the electoral rolls. So electoral rolls became something close to very accurate document. So I think that these improvements in the legal and procedural electoral aspects, unfortunately, did not improve the credibility of elections. That's so sad. Over a period of time, we just recently held our 12th election, which Samina just alluded to. It did not improve the credibility of elections. And one, I think, reflection of that is that Pakistan enjoys the second lowest voter turnout among the 9 South Asian countries. And I'm saying 9 because for some strange reason, International IDEA, whose statistics I was using, has included Iran also as a part of South Asia, but even otherwise 8 countries. So Afghanistan has the lowest voter turnout of about 44.78%, an average of their past 4 elections when they used to hold elections. But Pakistan has very close to that, about 46.46% of elections of the past 11 elections. 1970 is not included because then it was East Pakistan and West Pakistan together. So the voter turnout figure may be misleading. So from 1977 till 2024, the average of voter turnout is 46.46. And all other countries of South Asia, whether it's Nepal, whether it's Sri Lanka has the highest voter turnout, 73.76. So this low voter turnout is, I think, one strong reflection about the lack of trust of people in the electoral process. Uh, and one of the most, I think, unfortunate and unique feature is of Pakistani elections is that in this, and this we have seen consistently happening from 1985 onwards, that there is a super executive which predetermines the election outcome. It determines which party should not come into power and which party may come into power. But one thing definitely is that this party, which they decide, should never come to power, no matter what. And this has been consistently happening since 1985. The, the methodology has been different. 1985, they decided to hold elections on non-party basis because they thought that if they held election on party basis, Pakistan People's Party will sweep the election. So they went for non-party based election. 1988, they created a new coalition of political parties against People's Party so that People's Party, anti-People's Party vote is not divided, so they could win. But despite that, Pakistan People's Party could become the largest political party. 1990, that coalition of parties were distributed millions of rupees collected from the banks and distributed by the super executive intelligence agencies. So there had been various methodologies. In 2002, intelligence agencies were involved even in selecting the candidates at the grassroots level for the National Assembly and Provincial Assembly. 2000, coming back to the most recent 2018, the result transmission system was to be used at the last minute to decide that election results will not be communicated in time and they will get time to manipulate the election results. So this is what happened in 2018. There were repeated calls for investigations that why result transmission system collapsed, but no investigation could take place. Election Commission wrote to the Cabinet Secretariat to hold the investigation, but Election Commission, being all powerful and independent, they never held their own investigation. So it's very strange. 2024, we have come to a situation where we have seen that a political party, which was considered to be political opinion polls indicated will be the most popular party, was denied the election symbol. They thought that by doing so, they will not be able to poll the number of votes which they probably would have done otherwise. There were, in all these elections, we have seen a pre-poll manipulation regime, and that was the case in 2024 elections also. And this is something I'm saying about super executive is not something which I'm inventing. The outgoing Chief of Army Staff, in his farewell address on the Martyrs' Day, 23rd November 2022, acknowledged, admitted, confessed that the military had been interfering in the political affairs of the country for the past 70 years. And that was unconstitutional. This is quote unquote. And that is basically what makes a very unique feature of Pakistani elections, that here you call it establishment, you call it super executive, you call it military, call it intelligence agencies, but they have been manipulating the election results all through until the latest election of 2024. Now, you have asked me this question that how can we address this question? We had been trying to say that we should strengthen political parties, we should strengthen parliament, we should strengthen electoral laws, we should strengthen election commission, but all these things are fine and they're good, but they are not the main reason for not having credible elections in Pakistan. So main reason for not having credible election is the interference of the super executive. Until that is addressed, all other measures will not be effective, will not be useful. And I think for that, it's a very complex situation. It's not so easy. But I think a wishful thinking on my part is that if all political parties can get together at least on one point, that we will not let the next election, be they held in 2029 or earlier or later, will not allow to be manipulated like they have been manipulated in the past 12 elections. And they open a dialogue with the super executive. They talk to them. They can use the platform of National Security Committee, which I think is an excellent platform, where the leadership of super executive is present, whereas the leadership of the executive is present. And political parties' leadership can be invited there on special invitation. And I think a dialogue should be opened now. It should not wait until the close of 2029. And it should be only one point agenda. How they should back off from interfering in the political affairs, and especially in the elections in the country, and come and agree on some kind of a basic rules of the game. Until we do that,
Bilal,
and that's the only
yeah.
peaceful way of doing it.